just turn to item point 3 in the report that just gives a little bit of background on where the service has come from. Back in 2012, the Strategy and Resources Committee approved a review of street-based antisocial behaviour, which led to some workshops in 2013 between counsellors and professionals. From those workshops, it was identified that a number of the people who were causing antisocial behaviour in the city also had tenancies and were in fact people with a mental health problem that perhaps weren't engaged in the services. Of course, the knock-on effect of that is that there can also be an aspect of homelessness and other issues that apply as well. So the tenancy sustainment was then created, and in fact the posts were both in place in October 2014, which was really to provide an intensive tenancy sustainment service for our tenants living in our council stock, but also for people who were preparing to move into council properties with a mental health difficulty, or those who have in fact lost their tenancies and who might need to come back through the system in some form of temporary conversion. I thought it might be useful in the report to just paint the picture. So in 3.1 and 3.2, I just talked a little bit about the issues facing mental health across Cambridgeshire. I particularly draw your attention in 3.1 to the estimated extent of the problem for adults aged between 18 and 64, where it suggests that 15,000 people are affected with a common mental health disorder, and that figure has actually continued to rise. A public mental health strategy was approved in May 2015, just a few months ago, and it's predicted that the cost of mental health across the economy is £105 billion. So I think it is quite important that we are responsive and that we predict the needs of the most vulnerable. There's a lot of work going on across all aspects of public services to make sure that we're looking at early intervention and prevention of people becoming more ill, and then drawing more on those high-cost public services like hospitalisation and residential care as well. So that's something that the team do actually work on. The more recent figures from the mental health strategy suggest, and there is a slight difference in statistics between the Joint Strategic Needs Assessment and the Public Mental Health Strategy, that suggests that 63,000 adults between 18 and 64 have a common mental health problem in Cambridgeshire. Now actually, that aside, if you think about the types of people we're housing, and I know Dave's going to talk a little bit later on about our allocations policy in terms of priority need, there's also 19,000 children and young people with identified mental health problem across Cambridgeshire, and in Cambridge many of those will at some point in the future probably come into some form of social housing tenancy. In addition to that, because we've heard talk of the welfare reforms today, people living in households in England have some of the lowest incomes and are in fact 3 times more likely to have a mental illness. So that's something we need to consider, particularly in their ability to manage their income going forward. So the position in Cambridge is that budgets across health and social care, as we know, are under pressure. Across the city, there's a variety of different support providers already in place, but we've identified a real gap in terms of service provision, and that is that some of the contracts that are currently commissioned by our colleagues in the County Council don't necessarily catch all of the people, particularly some of our tenants, who are already engaged in the health service in particular. We've also noted, and I'm sure Dave will touch on this maybe later as well, there's an increase in homelessness in this year, and if current figures continue as they are at the moment, it's possible that we might see a 200% increase in mental health acceptances going forward. So as mental health becomes less stigmatised and becomes more prevalent in society, then we're going to be facing more needs to support a particular client group. So the Tenancy Sustainment Service, as I mentioned, started in October 2014. There is an appendix attached with some statistics attached to it. I must apologise, I realise in hindsight I've put a little bit of jargon in there, some abbreviations and initials. I won't go through those now, but if anybody does want clarity on what CCFT means, for instance, I'm very happy to explain that outside of the meeting. So we said that the aims of the service were twofold. They were about supporting our existing tenants, providing pre-tenancy support, and about supporting people who perhaps have been stable for a long period of time but who are becoming unwell again. There's some information that suggests that the cost from, I think some research has done by Guinness Partnership, suggests that the cost of people losing a tenancy, a failed tenancy, can be as much as £10,000 per tenancy. That's obviously a great deal of money, but when one thinks about the cost of empty home repairs, of rent arrears, of homelessness, and associated accommodation, that can easily add up. The service has received 52 referrals in this report, and the statistics really refers to the first 6 months of the service as well. I know there's been some questions about where the report's positioned on the agenda, and to clarify that this service is 75% funded through the housing revenue account and 25% funded through the general account, because it serves us across, it's a mixed tenure service. And a similar split exists for the type of people that are supported at the moment as well. I think, as well as the statistics that are going to be presented in the report, the other thing that is quite beneficial is the mental health tenancy sustainment workers have also been working across the council to upskill staff to be able to provide better support in all aspects of council services as well. And that's around sort of mental health training and awareness. And the staff have also done a lot of work and are doing work to make sure that as part of the Care Act and the need for integrated services across the public sector, that we are putting housing on the agenda for health and social care. And we've actually got some meetings coming up where we're training, essentially, health and social care to understand housing as well, because we recognise that's a two-way dialogue. So, in conclusion, we would ask the Executive Councillor to continue to support the tenancy sustainment service, and in particular the needs of vulnerable people in the city.
Thank you, Ryan. Any comments or points to the report? I don't think there's anything in